Hello, Internet, and I'm coming at you with a Top 5 Wednesday. This is the Goodreads group run by Sam over at Thoughts on Tomes. Both links are down below. Now, I know the particular topic for my video today is not a current one. I know that this is a couple weeks late, but it was such a good topic, and I thought I'd give myself a shot doing it anyway. So today's topic is Top 5 Books That Have Betrayed You. Book number 1, Lucille's Song. This has a very deep scar in my heart. It left a great hole where it shoved a sword through and just cut it. I was pained over this book. Now I understand that there are their own problems with Lucille's Songs. If you've ever read the series before, you know it's not that great a series. It's not the best writing or the best explanation, but it holds a special place in my heart because it was the first book that got me back into reading for myself. That's its whole explanation on itself. Let's just say nostalgia factor. I love it. Now, Robert M. Fanny better be dead. I think that's his name. Either way, he should probably be dead. At least that's the only excuse I'm taking. Now, I understand maybe this wasn't the greatest piece of literary work, far from it, and probably no one wanted to publish him because he didn't sell enough. Point is, he ended his second book on a cliffhanger. I don't feel bad spoiling this because it has been over 9 years since the second book came out. And the last page depicts a fight between our hero Lucille, the villain who has been chasing her this whole entire time. She has just been crowned queen. Her sword is on the makes of being repaired, and this guy comes up, breaks her sword. All the pieces get sucked up into this tree, and this bitch gets herself hauled off by her hair, with her sister looking out while a war is starting at her little coronation ball. Yeah. That's the last page in that book. She's being dragged away by the villain. Moment of silence for that pitiful ending. Book number 2, that book that hurt me deeply and just disappointed me so very greatly, and that is Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. Now, I have this whole book opinion about how this disappointed me. Let's just say it was a grim storytelling that just failed at everything because Vasa is one of the stupidest characters and most ignorant characters I've ever met. She just blames everyone else for the fact that she has no knowledge. And you as a reader are just stuck in her head listening to her, and you're like, bitch, figure things out. This freaking annoying. Stop it. Book number 3. Now, this book didn't necessarily betray me. I just didn't like the ending. The ending wasn't horrible, but I was just like, nah. And that is 11 Thumps, the 5th book, which is the Elder Tree. I'll put the cover up here. Point is, I read these books as a child. Now, if you have never heard of Levin Thumps and the Levin Thumps series, it's basically following a boy, Levin. He had a pretty terrible childhood. No one cared about him. He meets this girl named Winter, who's badass and awesome, and they drive their way to a gateway to a place called Fu. Fu is the alternate dimension or parallel reality where all dreams and hopes exist in its own little world, right? And that's where he belongs, and that's where the rest of the series takes place for the most part. Now, the last book is the focus point of the end. There's a villain that's been trying to destroy Fu, and Levin's the only hope. You know, that real chosen one stuff. And this book ends in a way where I was just like, man, I expected more from you. I understood the ending. I was like, okay, that's okay. But I don't know. It faltered where I expected more. The whole story, when you're following this story, a lot of really excitable things happen. You're just like, what? Oh! Explosion! And you're into it. I was all for this. And then this end happened, and I just thought it was faltering and kind of different than what had happened before. Not so out of place necessarily, because we had seen it before in other books, the kind of ending that happens here, the, oh, you didn't expect this is what was really going on behind the scenes, you know? Like, when you find out the Wizard of Oz is just a man behind a curtain, that was a common thing for this series. But I simply expected something more dramatic because of the way that it was set up from the beginning. Like, I thought this was Lord Sauron coming to kill you, or the Dark Lord coming to destroy you. Like, I was there. I was there. And it was kind of here. So, just wasn't for it. I didn't like the end. Book number 4. This is the book that just makes me turn up my nose in disgust, and then makes me want to say, you don't exist, you're not real. And that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I'm going to be honest, I haven't finished this. I don't think I'm ever going to finish this. I read parts of it, and parts of it I was like, cool, that's a new thing to add to this story. Like, that's a new thing to add to this world. Like, when you learn about the trolley woman, that was cool. Everything else, I was like, really? Why you approve this, JK? Why you approve this as canon? This is stupid. Like, I am so disappointed in you. This was freaking stupid. I've read real fan fiction better than this that is worthy enough to be canon. But this is a piece of trash, and I can't believe that you accepted this for canon, because no, I'm not even daring enough to. I understand my hypocrisy. I haven't finished it. How can I be so harsh? But I don't think I really need to finish it to tell you that this ain't that good, and you probably just should forget that it exists. Now, part of my dislike for it probably stems from the fact I never liked the 19 years later epilogue. I just didn't like how a lot of the characters ended up. I thought it was kind of lackluster in some of these things. Like, just wasn't that big a fan. My reasonings are kind of different from everyone else's, or at least not ones that I've heard from other people. Point is, never really liked the epilogue. To have a story that's focused all 19 years later, and then have it kind of be a fight between Harry and Albus for who's the main character, was annoying. Like, it's called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, so you're like, oh, Harry, another adventure with Harry Potter. Cool. But then it's kind of a story where Albus is the main character, but kind of nah, because Harry's still there. It's like a fight between the two, and you're wondering which one you should be paying attention to. Just, no. This book does not exist. I'm holding it in my hand. What am I holding in my hand? I don't know. I'm just miming books here because this doesn't exist in my mind. Book number 5 on my list is Brazinger. Brazinger? I'm not quite sure how you say it. It's the 3rd book by Christopher Paolini in the Eragon series. Now that I think back on it, Eragon wasn't that great a book. I remember feeling slightly confused in some parts and not really understanding it in others, because some things weren't clear while others really were, but I did really love it. Now, I loved Eragon, and then I loved Eldest, but when it came to Brazinger, I was really about it. It took me a while. Like, I read the first half of this book, and then I got to the part where, like, they have this dwarf council thing, and he's in this dwarf world, and all of it is a bunch of shaloni about politics and crap, and I was like, super boring, bye. And then I went back to read it, like, 2 months later, and then finished it. I think that was it. It just had some really dragging parts in it. You're expecting more, but sometimes it drags behind in politics, but then the politics are never, like, done in a way that you're just like, ooh, yes, devious things are happening. You're more like, adult things, no. And I didn't, it wasn't for me. So, I'm probably never going to finish that series, because, yeah, not a real big fan. Even though it had freaking dragons and you're riding dragons. How you disappoint me like that? I don't know. So these were the top 5 books that disappointed me in some way. If you like what I'm doing here on my channel, subscribe down below and ring the little bell to be notified every time I make a new video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It really helps me out. Nice to see other people out there who care about me just sitting in my room talking to my computer a lot. So, goodbye, internet. And remember, stab back at those who stab you in the back.